Ford High School Weekly is brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Billy Sims Barbecue. It's not just barbecue, it's Boomer Q.
Welcome to Ford High School Weekly. I'm your host, Deon Amade. On this week's episode, yeah, that's right, I'm going to say it. A special guest is here to talk with us, the quarterback for the Stillwater Pioneers, Gage Gundy. Gage, how's it going, man?
Good, how are you doing?
Not too bad. How's the season been thus far?
It's good. We're 2-0. We played Greenwood, Arkansas, week 0. We got that win. And then week 2, we played UConn. We got that win. Now we have Norman this upcoming Friday.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and let the fans get to know you outside of the football field. You cool with that?
Sure.
All right, so let's go ahead and ask some personal questions real quick. My first one that I was thinking about, I know you get an opportunity to travel the country a little bit and have some fun. So what is your favorite vacation spot?
I'd probably say going to Colorado and skiing.
Skiing, so I would think you are more of a snowboard kind of guy. What's up with the skiing trips?
I don't know. That's just what the first time we went when I was little, my dad just had me skiing, and I've just done it ever since.
So have you ever been on a snowboard?
No, I want to try. Every time I go, I'm going to say that I want to try it a day or so, but I end up just never getting around to it.
So how often have you been, skiing on those ski trips? Is it something that's very popular with your family, or it's just 1 or 2 times?
Usually we'd go every spring break as a family, but ever since the past few years, my dad's been really busy. So I've just started to go with friends during, I think in December during Christmas break.
All right. What about school, man? What's your favorite subject?
I'll probably say history.
Why is that?
It's the easiest for me, really, because a lot of times the history, study guides, they got study guides. Usually the study guides are the same as the test. So if I can study that study guide, I'll usually get a pretty good grade on the test.
So as long as you studied the study guide, got a little cheat sheet, it's plain and simple, huh?
Yes, sir.
Numbers and dates.
That's right.
All right, going back to, being on, your environment on the ground. We talked about being on vacation. We talked about school. What's something as far as motor vehicle wise? What's your favorite car?
I drive a truck. I like trucks a lot.
I can imagine that, man. What's your favorite kind of truck?
Probably a F-250. That's what eventually I want to get.
What color, man? What color are we thinking?
I don't really know. I mean, I look at pictures. I like the white, black, and gray. So really, I still haven't even decided. I like them all. I think they all look good.
All right. So is the F-250 your dream truck, or is that just something that you'd be driving every day?
I'd say like F-250 with like lift and tires and all that. That would be my dream truck.
Right on. All right, leading a little bit into sports. What's your favorite professional team?
Football.
Favorite professional NFL team then?
I really like the Bills and the Chargers because the quarterback's there. So I'm a fan of both those teams. Mainly the Chargers. I like the Chargers the most, but I like watching Josh Allen play too.
So are you more of you pick the player and then that's the team that you go for?
Pretty much. Like basically, since I like watching those quarterbacks, I'll stick with that team.
So when you were younger and you were growing up, what team were you normally rooting for?
I would say I like the Giants ever since Odell made that catch. That caught my attention as a little kid, so I really liked watching them. And then I was a Russell Wilson fan, so I like the Seahawks quite a bit. I'm also a fan of him, but I would say my favorite overall team would be the Chargers. But I'm kind of like a bandwagon because there's a few quarterbacks I like to watch, so I'll root for that team.
So it's all about the quarterbacks for you, huh?
Right.
So you cheering for the Broncos now or something?
I mean, if he's playing against a team that I don't really know anybody or like anybody on that team, then I'm cheering for the Broncos.
I like it. Well, when we come back, we'll talk with Gage about football and so much more here on Ford High School Weekly. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking with Stillwater's own Gage Gundy. Gage, now the football season is underway, but I want to take you back, man. Kind of tell the people how you got started in athletics. I know you come from this big, Oklahoma legacy family, the Gundys, where, your brother played, your dad played, your uncle played. So how did you personally get your start?
I would say growing up, always going to my dad's practices since I was a little boy. That's just all I ever really knew. So from there, that's just what I enjoy doing. I was around it all the time.
I remember seeing you at those practices, man. You've grown up quite a bit. You're not 6'4" from where you were like 5 feet. I remember all of it. So how was it being that young and being in that type of environment?
It was pretty cool, Not a lot of people get to experience that. So I would say I learned a whole lot from watching that for 14 years now.
So how did you, as an athlete, when did you start playing football?
I started playing flag football in, I think, first grade. And then I started playing tackle football in third grade.
Was that something that you've always known you were going to do, or you just kind of instinctively had the desire?
I never really remember asking, hey, sign me up for football. I've always been, when I was young, I was a big baseball player. That's the first sport I really took serious and started getting serious with. And I still love going up to OSU and watching practices and stuff. I never really seemed to beg to play football. Then my dad just signed me up in first grade, and that's all I ever really knew. I still enjoyed it, so I just went, but it was weird. I never really asked to play.
That's funny because I'm in the same situation. I had 2 other brothers as well, and I never asked to play football.
Yeah.
My older brother played.
I guess that's all of that. I had no choice, really.
So what kind of quarterback do you consider yourself to be?
I would say kind of like a Josh Allen. Because, I throw the ball pretty well. He does too, but if I need to run it, I've been seeming last year I kind of shocked myself. I didn't think I was that good of a runner as I am now, but whenever we need to get yards, I step up in the pocket. I've been seeming to get good gains and getting down 10, 12, 13-yard gains and get down. And Josh Allen, when I watch him, he seems to do the same. Also, we do a heavy package and quarterback power, and I watched the Bills, and that's what they did against New England last year in the playoffs. So ever since then, that's just kind of who I've looked up to.
So would you say that's what kind of sets you apart as an athlete and as a quarterback in the state of Oklahoma? Your just ability to be a dual threat kind of a guy in a different sense of the word?
Yes, sir.
So kind of elaborate on that. It's why is that something that you pride yourself in or put into your game?
Because I really think a true quarterback can move and make a play when he can. If you're just stuck in the pocket and you can't move around real well and you take easy sacks, I don't think that helps the team out. So I feel like if it's third and short, fourth and short, being able to do it, QB power, get the yards, that just helps OC a lot with play calling. I also think the quarterback's making plays around the pocket, being able to take bad plays into good plays, not getting sacked. Pretend you have a snap that snapped over your head. You got to go pick it up, make somebody miss, get back to the line of scrimmage, stuff like that. I think that's what makes a good quarterback and a great quarterback.
Man, you saying all that, bro, it really takes me back to those meetings in Stillwater with your dad kind of talking to us before games and whatnot. He always used to say one thing: the quarterback has to be the toughest guy on the field because he's the only one that has to take these shots and not get hit. So when he used to say that, I didn't really think much of it. I was like, I don't know, coach. I think I'm the toughest guy on the field. But after not playing and seeing all the shots that quarterbacks take, I understand what he was saying. So how do you feel about taking those shots in the running game?
I would say I think it helps the team and motivates the team because if they see that the quarterback can take a hit or truck somebody and keep going, then everybody should be able to. So overall, I think it just depends. Everybody's watching the quarterback. If they're tough, they make tough plays, then everybody's going to rally behind them. And like you said, you got to be the toughest player on the field because, when you get hit, you can't just, the next play go, oh, I'm going to go block and blow this guy up. You got to be able to maybe the next play drop back, make a play, just hand the ball off and just you can't really fight back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Usually, like on defense, if you get mad, you can go blow somebody up the next play. Being a quarterback, you got to be composed, get the play, read the coverage, and re-go again.
So is that something that you've known all your life playing quarterback, or is that something that's been taught to you? And I asked that question because it seems like, all these coaches' sons, they kind of have those same mannerisms as coach, and I can hear it from you. So is that something that you develop from just watching and being there, or is that something that your dad and your coaches have taught you?
Most definitely my dad and coaches. I mean, like before the games, my dad always texts me, you got to be the toughest player on the field. You can never show fear, fatigue, frustration. And you got to be tough, disciplined, focused, and have effort before every game. And so I think that all just ends up being around those words he tells me.
How long has it been for your dad texting you those messages before games?
I think since my first real high school game, going into 7th grade, where in Little League he'll tell me in the car, but now since I got to middle school, we bus as the team. So that's when he started texting me that, and he's done ever since. He did it last game against UConn.
Is it something that he texts your brother as well?
I think so. I think he texts both of us on game day.
So before, when Coach Gundy was coaching me and you guys were in Little League, how did you guys deal with the whole, your dad, coaching his team and you guys playing your sports? Like your mom took y'all to everything and was at every practice and game and everything like that?
So Gunner, whenever he was playing growing up, he played in the Enid League. And I think they played on Thursday nights or something. So he got to watch those. But I played SYFA and those games were on Saturdays. So I don't think he ever really made it to – he'd go to the playoff games, but I don't think he ever made it to one real season game because he'd be playing on the Saturday when we play. So my mom would video in the stands, and we'd watch it together after.
So having a dad as a coach and probably, the most famous and successful, quarterback and coach in this state, how is that? Is it dealing with that and living with it?
I would say I'm really thankful for that. Not a lot of people get to have that, and he helps me out a lot. We watch all my practices together. We watch opponents together before the games. We've been watching Norman's film, so I would say I'm really thankful for that opportunity.
Man, you got to look a bit of an advantage on some of these guys in high school, man. One of the top dogs being able to watch film with, that's pretty impressive.
Sir.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk with Gage about the season Stillwater's having and some of his recruiting news. We'll be right back here on Ford High School Weekly. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. We're talking to Gage Gundy, quarterback for the Stillwater Pioneers. Also plays on the baseball team. Now, Gage, you're a baseball player, you're a football player, and you're also a Gundy. So which one of these sports is it that really captures your heart?
I would really say football is, but it was baseball early in my career, but now I'd really say football is what I like to do the most.
Yeah. So what is it about football that kind of gives you that yearning for that baseball really doesn't?
I would say baseball, it's just kind of a slower game. Besides when you're hitting, being in the field, it's just pitch after pitch. You won't get a ball. Maybe you might not get a ball all game in the field. Then you hit every 20, 30 minutes or so. So I'd say football for an hour, you're just nonstop having to think, make plays, communicate, all that, all the above.
But I mean, you're a pretty good baseball player, bro. I know your teammate was the #1 pick in the MLB draft last season, and you're right behind him. So can you give an example for the people that don't know of how good of a baseball player you are?
I think my stats were at a .453 batting average. I had 15 home runs. I think I had 50 RBIs.
You got any desires to play at the next level?
I mean, I do. I'm keeping both my options open right now. I'm not gonna make a full decision on football or baseball until after my baseball season this year, my senior year.
So let's go to the family dynamic real quick. Grew up watching your brothers growing up and coming to practice along with you. And I watched your brother Gunner playing catch with your dad after practice and everything. So let's go ahead and ask the question, man. Who's the better quarterback, you or Gunner?
I like to say where he was at in his senior year and then my senior year, I would say we're both pretty good. I would say both of our stats as of now, as my second game and his, are pretty identical. But I would say like now, where he's at right now, where I'm at right now, he's better. But as if when he was a senior and I'm a senior, we're head to head.
I heard that you have a little bit of a different throwing motion this year. How has that affected you early in the season, and how has that been going through that process?
It's really been helping me out a lot. Last year I was very off platform, had a bad tilt, my finish wasn't level. You should try to want to have your shoulders level.
So as far as a successful senior year for you, what would it be?
Win state.
Point blank and period. Win state.
Sure.
So as far as individual goals and things like that, what are you looking to accomplish?
I'm trying to throw for 3,500 yards, and I'm trying to rush almost close to 1,000.
So as far as, you know, we talked about the season, we talked about you as a player. I know individually we talked a little bit about baseball and keeping your options open, but who are some of the schools that are looking at you?
In baseball or football?
Give me both, man.
Okay, football, Northern Iowa. Now I have Sam Houston. And then Pitt State, they've been talking to me a lot. Emporia State. But my two D1 are Sam Houston and Northern Iowa.
So as far as, you know, the recruiting process, I mean, I've seen you play. You've got what it takes to play at the next level. And it kind of seems you're going through the same situation that your other brother went through, Gunner, where you're not really getting the attention from the college scouts and everything. It might be a situation where people are just assuming that you're going to go follow your dad and play for OSU. So what do you think it is behind that whole recruiting situation?
I would say there are some schools that are really worried about that. I've had 2 or 3 other D1 schools talk to me about, like, hey, do we even need to take time to talk to you about, like, to recruit you, or are you just going to go to OSU, stuff like that. So I would say it has a little bit to do with it.
So for those individuals that are concerned about that, what would you say to them?
I told them all my options are open. I don't have my eyes on any school. Exactly. I'm just open for everything.
Hey, so for everybody who's listening, Gage Gundy is open for business. So with that being said, I want to thank you for joining us today, man. And final question, okay? When it's all said and done, and I know you have the family legacy and your brother and your dad and the whole family, but what do you want people to say about Gage Gundy when they leave Friday night and watch you play?
That he's just not, like, known and, like, hyped up just because of his last name, that, like, I'm a true good player and I'm one of the best quarterbacks in the state, I would say.
Well, man, I've seen you play, and you definitely are one of the best quarterbacks in the state.
Thank you.
I hope everybody notices as well.
Yes, sir.
Coming up next, highlights from another great week of Ford Game of the Week action here on Ford High School Weekly. Welcome back to Ford High School Weekly. Last week, Norman North put that 2-0 record on the line at UConn. The Millers were 0-2, looking to break into that winning column on the Ford Game of the Week.
Had a great football game here this evening as the UConn Millers defeat the Norman North Timberwolves. Our final score, 28-23. Deanna Mate is alongside, and we tell you about the great game that we saw here this evening and the way the guys fought after it. Just really good contest this evening.
It really was. I mean, the fact of the matter is the difference was running the football. both of these teams did an excellent job running the football. We thought Norman North would come out and be a little bit more explosive offensively, but this defense for the Millers really took control of things. And then on offensively, they ran that football very efficiently. Hey, man, they're looking to be very impressive with the rest of the season. Let's take a look at some of these highlights,
Let's
though.
do it.
Yeah, first off, Truxell, that kid was amazing. He was our fourth player of the game, the quarterback for the Millers operating the offense. He takes it down to the 1-yard line on this play, and then number 17, Rogers, punches it on in. But Cabanis would answer back. Six Killer throws it to Cabanis, 18 into the end zone, making it a 7-7 contest. And then look at the diving interception by Riley Smith. Then look at this, a blocked field goal went by number 92 for the Norman North Timberwolves. That's Rogers, and Mason Pace takes it all the way down for the touchdown, making it a close game, but to stretch it out to pick up a big first down, our Jelco workman of the game, Mr. Day, takes it for the first down, and that steals it for the game.
28-23, UConn wins it over Norman North.
Next Thursday, look for Broken Arrow at Norman North on the Ford Game of the Week. Then, on Friday, Gage Gundy and the Stillwater Pioneers will be at Booker T. Washington. Both games start at 7 p.m. It's the Ford Game of the Week on Cox's YurView Channel 3.
From about 34 yards, and it's blocked. It's a live football.
Very live football. Everybody's standing around, but look who picks it up. Number 1 for Norman North, Mason Pace, and that's going to be a touchdown.
Be sure to go to yourview.com/OK for highlights and replays of the Ford Game of the Week. And check out our podcast and past episodes at yourview.com/OK. Stay tuned for the Ford Game of the Week. Tuttle and Bethany will be playing on Channel 3 in the Oklahoma City area. Holland Hall and Cassia Hall will be playing on Channel 3 in the Tulsa area. In both markets, you can watch the other game on Channel 93. Remember, only the best in Oklahoma, like Stillwater's Gage Gundy, make the Ford High School Weekly. So until next time, thank you for watching, and I'm Deanna Amade.
Ford High School Weekly has been brought to you by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma. And by Billy Sims Barbecue. It's not just barbecue, it's Boomer Q.